Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Cerebral Palsy and Fitness podcast. I have AJ here. He is he is a runner. He's also a content creator and a photographer who was born with cerebral palsy. And today he's here to share our journey with us. Welcome, AJ.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, AJ. So to get started, what kind of cerebral palsy were you born with?
I forget. Second, 1 second.
Hey guys, so if you're just tuning in, I'm here with AJ here. He stepped out for a moment, but we're going to talk a little bit about photography, cerebral palsy. We're gonna talk about content creation and all kinds of different topics. I'm definitely excited for him to be on here. And if you guys are tuning in, definitely take care to watch on Facebook, on both my platforms on Facebook and on YouTube here. And hopefully you guys enjoy the show. So if you guys have any questions, definitely bring them by, and we'll go ahead and answer them, and we'll have a good time on the show. So thank you guys. So I'll be just be hanging out here. So let me know what you guys feel free to ask away. If you guys know, I've been getting back into podcasting recently, so I want to be more involved this year. That's one of my goals, is to get a lot of podcasting done. If you guys have anybody refer them to me, have them message me, and we'll coordinate a time. It's always a good feeling when you have people on the show that get to talk about their expertise, share their story, and have a platform where they're not judged uh, based off disability or what they do or anything else. Um, and it's always a good feeling to have you guys on. So thank you guys for joining the show today. And whoever's watching, I appreciate you. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys are ready for Mother's Day weekend. It should be a good one. What are you guys' plans? I will be actually celebrating my birthday this weekend on Saturday. So it should be a great one. Um, what are you guys doing? Any plans for you guys? Let me know in the comment section, and we'll talk about it. Anything. If you guys have any plans, enlighten me. Maybe I might do something like what you guys are doing. So what are you guys doing for Mother's Day? Oh, here we are. We're back
I've
with AJ now.
I've
Hey, I was just chatting with the viewers here, just talking about Mother's Day and what we're gonna do, and just enlightening them a little bit about you and letting them know, hey, we're just taking a bit of a step back. We'll be back soon, and here you are.
sorry about that.
It's all right. Welcome back. Well, we have a couple of viewers here, and already a heart even before we start the show. So, AJ, we were talking about what kind of diagnosis you had as far as cerebral palsy. So, can you share that with us?
Yeah, so I am affected my total left side. And so I forget the actual term. I know it starts
Your
with H.
your left hemi.
Yep, yep. And so yeah, so that's the CP that I do have.
Did it impact you in any way as a child? Like, did you have any difficulties?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, um I didn't find out until I was diagnosed with CP at the age of 2, and I didn't walk until um those later years, around 2 years old. And so, I mean, yeah, growing up, it was definitely difficult, having to have surgery on my left side of my body, having to learn how to walk, and then yeah, but it was fitness, it was sports. Those things were a good outlet for me to build motor skills, to build strength, to build coordination. And so, since the age of 5, I've been playing some sort of sports thanks to my older brother.
Nice.
Pretty much my whole life, I was playing basketball. And so, it was basketball that really helped me with the coordination. Um, and building just different skills, you know.
Did you ever play recreational basketball when you were a kid? Did you join any leagues, or was it just something that you outside and
Yeah,
just played
no.
it?
I played yeah, I actually played uh, and so when I was 5, I started playing. My first team was when I was in 5th grade. And so that was the first team I've ever played on. And then middle school, I played on the team. And then high school, I played on the team. And I remember myself, and I trained really, really hard year after year. And I remember my sophomore year, I was coming into that season thinking, I would make the team, and I end up getting cut, and it really broke me. And so that winter leading into that summer, I trained even harder. End up making the team my junior year and then my senior year, and then even played up until college, my first year of college. But then it was starting to become tough because uh, the game was getting much faster at the college level, and my body was getting beat up. It was harder for my left side to recover at times. And, at that age, 17, 18, I didn't really know how to use the tools to recover your body well, especially with CP.
Oh
I
yeah.
wasn't I wasn't doing things that I currently do now to keep the body refreshed and
Yeah.
um, just ready to go.
So it sounds like they treated you pretty fairly. Like you never had a. Did you have an issue with? I guess when you were playing sports, where they treated you kind of differently because of your left-sided hemi, where they what I'm saying is like the coaches will look at you and say, "Oh, you know what, AJ, I don't feel comfortable putting you out there because get you might get hurt or it might be too much for you. So, we just might want to slow it down for you."
Um, yes and no. To answer your question, yes and no. Um, yeah, of course, there was people. Kids are just going to be kids and give you a hard time, um, but they don't really know any better. They're just being kids. As far as coaches go, yeah, at times, like I said, when the game started to become faster, the kids started to become stronger. Uh, there were times where, I may not play as much just because I may not be able to keep up. Um, and so, yeah, but regardless of what it was, it definitely shaped me to who I am now and my mentality and on just different on fitness and life and business and all that.
So was it difficult for you to transition from playing basketball to where you're at now, since it seemed like you playing basketball and then your CP was impacting you
Mhm,
to pursue other avenues, like
mhm.
you know like you said, you got into running. When was that transition?
Yeah, that's a great question because I was subconsciously searching for something uh to work towards, my whole life since I was 5 up until 20 years old, so about 15 years of my life, it was all basketball. And I would put hours and hours and hours in. And I knew I was already behind the 8 ball because I had CP. And so with that, I knew I had to train harder, I had to train smarter, et cetera, et cetera. And so when basketball started to go away and I wasn't playing competitively anymore, um, I was searching for um, what was next, and I started to. Uh, it was just pretty. From there, it was trial and error for a lot of things. I was learning a lot about myself still at that age. I thought I wanted to be into business and go into real estate. I started doing. Um, I was an intern at a real estate company called Keller Williams for a while. Um, I just wanted to prove myself because my whole life, uh, yeah, even on the physical level, but the mental level too, and just like how intelligent I was. I was always challenged by the world or um, just people that I know, and so I always had like this mentality of I wanted to, just uh, prove people wrong. But as I've gotten older, so uh, as I've gotten older, I realized that's not necessarily um, a longevity mindset, and it doesn't last. Trying to prove something people wrong only gets you so far. And so with that trial and error, I started to again figure out more about myself, and I started getting into CrossFit training,
Oh yeah.
which when I got into it, I really loved. I really loved. Just again like uh, the fast pace to it, how it gets your heart rate up, the community around it. I really love that. My my grandfather, he was a professional boxer. I ended up getting into boxing for a couple years, and um, like really training again, like taking what I knew from basketball into training into boxing, building that skill set
Awesome.
and like really going all in, moving down to Mexico, training down there um, with my family and fiance because she's from Mexico. And then I started to fight. And then I realized this isn't sustainable, especially with
Yeah.
CP. Um, I was starting to get um, just a lot of headaches. I was starting to get my body was just starting to break down, and my fiance, she really
Was
just
concerned about you.
very much so, and she was like, "Hey, you really got to make a choice. Like, you can't be doing this." And so I decided to. First, I was like, "Okay, I won't like. I'll just train boxing just to train." But then I realized um, I was training, but there wasn't an end goal, and so I was getting burnt out. And while I was boxing, my grandfather, my coaches always tell me, "You need to run. You need to run." But I hated running. I hated running. But my fiance, she's a runner. She has over 30 medals.
Wow.
And she kind of helped me get into running little by little. And from there on, when I did my first race, I realized, well, one, I realized the process of running and getting better. Um, like I love the journey part. Like I love learning something new, and I'm just like terrible at it. I love that, and like I love trying to figure out the puzzle pieces on like how to get better, how to be more efficient. So that those like tactical things really interest me when it comes to fitness and learning a new skill in fitness. And so when I finished my first race, I that the dopamine and all that stuff, that all those emotions that run through you after you finish a race, was it's like none other. And I realized, I was like, no, this is what I'm chasing. Like this is something I can go after and I can compete with. And it's not that I'm competing against someone else, but I'm competing with myself, you know. Um, and from there on, it was about 3 years ago. I've taken it serious. I've like just committed myself to it, just running, running.
You've
And
been,
I can't, again, I'm a person that I hated running. I really hated running. And it, it's just like the stuff that came with running at that time, because of the CP, I didn't like, my left foot wouldn't impact the floor properly. And so I was starting to feel massive pain in my ankle, my knee, my hip, like all these different things. And so um, I affiliated running with pain. And that's why I shied away. But then I realized it was that change of mindset of, hey, yes, you're dealing with these things now, but let's work backwards and try to figure out, and we can fix this and make these things stronger, make these things more flexible, have the mobility, etc., etc.
that's all. That's all it is. You just gotta get your body acclimated or used to it.
Exactly. And it's not just running for me. It's, like I said, it's a that's the end goal, and it's a big piece of the pie, but there's other slices, right? And so I do a lot of Pilates, I do a lot of yoga, I do strength training. And so all these little things help me succeed in running. And those are the things that I had to figure out. And I think that's what I love most about it, is figuring that stuff out.
It sounds like you're doing everything right to really uh, push your body, and not only physically and not only mentally, but you're teaching yourself that it's okay to take a step back and to reflect and then come back to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And
Yeah.
that's what you're doing now. Is right now you might be injured, but you're taking the time to rest, to heal, to reflect, and then you'll be back, and you'll be back stronger than ever and mentally focused, and then you know exactly what to improve on and to how to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So far, out of all the races you've done, which ones have been your favorites? Too many.
Um, I love my first race I've ever done, and the reason that is because there was a lot to learn from it, and so it's always a race I can reflect on, whether it's good or bad. Um, I went into that race very naive. Like I said, I was just getting into running. I thought maybe running 2 to 3 times a week would be good. Um, and I ran 25K, which is a little over a half marathon.
Wow, 25K. That's
Yeah.
You told
And
me that I'll be 25K on the floor.
yeah. And so um yeah, that's one of my favorite ones, because it's, like I said, it's always one that I can really reflect on, good or bad. Um, I can always like there's a lot to learn from that race, and I still to this day kind of pick it apart. Um, and another one is my most recent one. Um, that took place in February down in Mexico. I beat my personal record in a half marathon at a time of 1:56.
Wow.
So yeah, those are the two that come to mind as of now. Yeah.
Well, so speaking about running, I know you do running and things like that. Do you see yourself in the future doing marathons like the Boston Marathon, the New York City Marathon, the really big ones in the United States? Do you see yourself doing that within the next few years or here in the future?
Yes, I would love to. I would love to. So going back to my first 25K, um, one thing that I learned after finishing that race is I this this process is a marathon process, building my body up, building that strength,
Exactly.
and I realized, with CP, it's going to take a little longer to build that up and to build that repetition, that muscle memory and such. Like I really need to put the miles in. And so, yes, those things were like on my bucket list, like very soon. And you have to qualify for something like Boston. But I realized like I have to attack it in a smart way. So I have to those have to be goals for me in the next 3 to 4 years. Because I want to play it smart. I haven't yet to run my first marathon, but I'm building myself up to that. When I first decided to run, I scheduled a full marathon in San Diego,
Oh,
and I again was super naive,
uh,
unprepared. And
mhm.
I remember I had my full marathon bib on. I was coming to a crossroads. On the left side was the half marathoners. On the right side was full marathoners. And I was running, and my body was already beat up. This is like 10 miles in. And I just had to tell myself, like, you're not going to finish if you do a full marathon. And so I ran
Mhm.
left, and all the people that were working were like, you're going the wrong way. And I was like, no, I'm not. I swear. Like I can't do it. I have to just run the half marathon. And so again, that was another learning point. Like I don't have to try to rush to run a marathon. I'm allowing my body to be prepared when that time comes by training um, now and building that, like I said, that strength up, that conditioning, the aerobics up, the muscle memory, all that. Because with CP to build that muscle memory,
Oh yeah.
a repetition and a lot of reps.
A lot of reps and a lot of perseverance and really wanting to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, playing the kind of sports I did, it took me a long time to get to where I'm at. But
Yeah.
um, I mean, we got there, and obviously, you probably saw it in a way when you made that turn to finish on the half marathon.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't necessarily give up. You finished. You finished something.
Yeah.
It's not like you stopped like in the middle of the road and was like, "I'm done."
Yeah.
You just took a different path to finish.
This is true. This is true.
That's what a lot of people need to realize in life is sometimes when you take the path straight and narrow, sometimes you're gonna encounter times where you're gonna turn a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And although it's gonna take you to a different path, you're still gonna finish. It's gonna take you a bit longer or it
Mm-hmm.
might be a bit quicker.
Yes, sir. Well said.
You
Well
know?
said.
And that's what you did. You took a different path. Although it's was probably the shortest path and you weren't expecting it, you still got it done.
Yes, sir.
Even though people were saying, "You're going the wrong way," you're like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm finishing what I started.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yes.
taking a different road."
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about photography. I know you're venturing into that, right? Is that something you do full time?
Yep. So that is actually my full-time career. I've started photography probably back in 2018, and it wasn't until a little bit after where I COVID ended, where I went full time. And so, yeah, it's something that I do love, and um, it kind of works well with everything that I want to do on like the physical side and fitness. Um, when I have downtime or don't have a lot of client work, I can create content for myself with running and working out and stuff. So it all goes hand in hand. And yeah, I love what I do. Very fortunate.
Who does your speaking about your content, like who shoots your content when you're running on
Mm.
the treadmill or when you're out on the road just doing your runs?
Yeah. So if I'm on the road, I just ask a friend, like, hey, can you come? I'll try to schedule. So each time film something, I always film it at the end of a workout because I just don't want to get caught up in like trying to film and then lose focus on the workout and then
Right.
exert too much energy on trying to create the content. And so I do everything at the end of the workout. So I'll do my workout. If the workout is 30 or 45 minutes and I'm on the road, I'll try to schedule a time with a friend. Like, hey, if I'm running at noon, I'll say, hey, do you mind shooting? And I literally tell them, like, hey, for a piece of content, I just need maximum 45 seconds. Like, just if you can meet me and shoot me running, like, on your longboard or your bike or whatever, and you're following me, I just need 45 seconds just so I have something.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's typically how I do that. But if I'm on the treadmill, I put everything on my tripod, like my
Okay.
camera, and I film myself on the tripod. And same concept of I do my workout first on the treadmill, and then I'll take out my camera, and then I'll just get a few shots, a few angles of me running for like 30 seconds, and then I just edit it myself. And yeah.
Would you ever I mean if you were to put everything together, would you ever want to pursue like maybe start your own like running group or maybe become a fitness instructor where you're showing, individuals different techniques on how to get in shape, how to recover. And perhaps if they want to become a runner, maybe you can coach them in the best way to manage, your body, especially because your lactic acid, it builds up a lot. So you knowing that you've been doing this for years, you probably know some techniques to how to control that and how to manage the pain afterwards, the delayed muscle soreness.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something I've been thinking about. I think I'm currently in a season of just trying to consume as much as I can. I want to be able to feel confident to be able to teach someone or to speak into someone. And so um, I just don't think I'm in the season for that right now of um, trying to coach or teach someone because I just feel myself there's so much I need to still learn, especially when it comes to running and training. But as far as groups go, I do have like a running club. Again, going back to uh, like how I express myself through fitness, fashion, and shoes and stuff. And one of the biggest things is like running shoes. And so we have a running club called Kicks and Coffee Running Club. So it's all about the latest running shoes. We'll meet at a coffee shop. We'll do like a 7K loop, which is essentially like 4.4 miles. Um, and yeah, then we'll do that loop, and then we'll all meet up for coffee, and then coffee's that centerpiece to have conversations with people, to meet new people and such. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
the
then
coaching
speaking
part,
about shoes,
yeah.
you know, have you heard of the Flyees by Nike?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah, somebody with CP actually came up with those.
Yep, yep, mhm, yep, yes, sir, yep, I know exactly. Yeah, they came out. I remember I was in New York when they first came out. I remember that vividly. It was probably like 3 years now, 4 years now since they came out, like, near COVID time.
Yeah. I've
Yep.
been wanting to get a pair, but I'm like, I'm kinda waiting to, you know, to to, really get into it, but I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence, and I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about it, like, the ease of putting him on, and 'cause there's nothing for AFOs, 'cause I wear orthotics,
Okay.
so there's nothing for runners, like, because I'm very active.
Mhm.
I'm like, I can't find the perfect running shoe that'll fit the AFO, and I'll be able to,
Yeah,
walk and run and stuff, so, you know?
you should try them out.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, if you s I mean, if you could I mean, do you have any recommendations for someone that
Ah,
has, orthotics and they
yeah.
wanna get running?
So I actually have a pair of orthotics myself. Um, I haven't used them in a long time, if I'm being honest, but a really good running shoe is a Hoka. Have you heard of the brand Hoka?
No, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, Hoka would be I think would be a really good recommendation, um, for people looking to get into running. It's a very, cushioned shoe. It has a big platform, um, especially when you're on the road. Like I said, with me and my CP, sometimes impacting the road on my left side isn't as embraceful as it is on the right
Right,
side. It's very, like, jerky, so to speak, like, just
right.
slaps the pavement, and so, um, that would be a really good shoe that I would recommend, a new runner.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm definitely gonna take a look into that, and those of you that are looking for yourselves, definitely check it out. AJ, so to kind of wrap up this whole episode as a whole, what do you have to say to the listeners out there that are currently struggling, trying to find themselves and be more accepting, and finding that inclusive space?
Mhm. That's a great question.
I
I
know it's a kind of a loaded question there. I threw it at the end
no,
just because.
it's a really good one, but I the first thing that really comes to mind and, like, that's really in my heart is, like, figure out what it is that you wanna do, what it is that you want to accomplish, what your purpose is, and find a community around that and surround yourself with that community. Because if it wasn't for the community that I found in fitness and running and photography, I wouldn't be able to be as far as I am. They say if you want to go fast, go by yourself, but if you want to go far, go with the group. And
Mhm.
so, um,
Good point.
yeah, I would say just surround yourself with the community that is, um, in the industry you want to be in, you know? Um, and, I always say for people, with any disability, but CP specifically, because that's kind of who the people I've been able to talk with. My whole slogan is full ability with a disability, and understanding is yes, we may be different, but we have the ability to do the same as someone without a disability. Like you mentioned before, it may be a different route, but at the end of the day, we can all meet um, like on the same path.
And then the same path, yeah. I mean, I mean, that's what it's all about, you know. I don't, I don't know about you, but I believe in slow and steady wins the race, and sometimes, we got to take our time.
Yes, sir.
We'll
Yes,
get there, but and it'll take us longer, but we'll get to the same exact goal.
exactly. Exactly. It may take time, but um, like you said, we'll get there. We'll get there. That's really well said, and that's something that I'm definitely going to keep in mind these next few days. Is slow and steady wins the race, and I need to keep that in mind too, because sometimes I do, when it comes to running, I do start off too fast, and
Pace yourself.
yeah, and kill myself at the end because I didn't pace myself. So,
Yeah,
really well
when I used to cycle, I used to be like that for me. Like I used to start out like fast right off the gate, and then
said.
halfway through the race, I would start blowing up because I was already exhausted. And but then I realized by us going steady, slow and steady, and taking our time, when it comes to that last bit of the race where you have to really pump up the jets, you'd have the energy there at the end.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. No, like I said, that's something that I need to do better with, and I'm really glad you said that because that really speaks to me and that resonates with me.
Yeah, you got to. Otherwise, it'll it'll make you it'll cause you the race because for us, as somebody that runs,
Uh huh.
if you start slow and steady, you might be at the back of the pack, but slowly but surely you're gonna start passing other runners because they'll start gassing out, and then you'll look behind and you'll be like, oh, what's going on over there? And then you realize it's because they use their energy without realizing that by pacing yourself, you can go further.
Yeah, and I don't. I'm sure it's very similar with everyone with CP. We tend to exert a lot
Hmm.
more energy, anyways, and so um, I've read this thing. It's on the Cerebral Palsy Foundation. They say we tend to exert 4 times as much energy as someone without CP.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, here we are. We're still in one piece, but we're moving. Right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so Alec, where can they find you, the our listeners?
Yeah, so on Instagram, I am a.j.arambula, ARAM as in mom, B as in boy, ULA. And then Alec Arambula on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yes, if you guys hear that, definitely give them a follow and show them your support. And I'm looking forward to seeing what your future looks like.
Thank you, sir. And again, I appreciate you for reaching out. I appreciate you for allowing me to share my story and you know, thank you for, on behalf of all of us for creating such a great platform and getting like people with CP just more recognition and getting the word out there and
Yeah.
showing the benefits of it. I feel like you only hear like the causes of CP and how it hinders us. But as a community, there's so many good benefits to having uh, the people like you. So
Hey, that's what we can do. We got to stick together, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, AJ. I really appreciate it.
Again, thank you, sir. Thank you, David.
It was fun.
Yes, sir. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you guys for watching this live stream. Of course, if you ended up missing it, you're gonna be able to see it on Facebook, you're gonna be able to see it on YouTube and on Spotify eventually when I upload it on iTunes as well. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, be safe and have a good one. Thank you, AJ.
Thank you. Bye.